We are going to take a look at another story. Story that I, again, have been personally curious about. A story that's on the Iceberg Conspiracy list. A story that I've gotten a lot of requests on, and this story was scheduled for the Thursday episode, but I moved it ahead because someone on YouTube goes, you know what, I really want to hear about the ocean at night. This one is cool. This is one of the ones that I was researching it and I was looking into it, and once the pieces fell into place, I was like, yeah, this is why I enjoy doing this. So the ocean at night is a fascinating place. It does a lot of weird stuff at night. What happens is that on the surface, most of the predators hunt visually. They hunt by sight. The big sharks up there, the whales and all of that, they hunt by sight. So they use the sunlight to hunt. At night, they're not doing too great. They can't find their prey as easily as they want to. And what happens is the creatures from the bottom of the ocean begin to migrate up to feed because it's safer now. So you have all the plankton floating up to the surface, going to eat stuff. I don't know what plankton eat. And then because of that, the deep sea fish start coming up after the plankton because they don't rely on sight to hunt. It doesn't matter if it's nighttime, they hunt in dark waters anyway, so they go where the food goes, they go up to the surface. And what that means is those fishes' predators, those giant squids, those cookie cutter sharks, those crazy creatures from the bottom of the ocean swim up to eat lanternfish, to eat all their food that's going up. And this happens every day. At dusk, you start to have this mass migration from the bottom of the ocean coming up, chasing its food. And then as the sun starts to come back, they all just go back to the bottom of the ocean. Everything resumes to normal. When our giant ships are moving across the ocean, when kids are out playing on the beach, and then as the sun sets, that whole process starts again. All those fish come back up to the surface. There was a guy who was night swimming. It's marathon swimming. So you basically have to start at night. You get started at night because the process is so long. And you're going to swim as far as you can. I mean, obviously there's like a distance or whatever, but the way that it works is that generally you have, you're swimming not by yourself. There's generally like a boat near you. And this guy also had a guy on a kayak next to him. The boat would be a little bit farther away. The kayak was next to him. And at one point, the captain of the boat was like, hey, it's really dark. I want to turn on my floodlights. And they're like, okay, because we wanted to know where everyone was going. So they put the floodlights on this swimmer. And the guy's swimming next to the kayak, floodlight on him. Captain's boat has a floodlight on the swimmer, and he's swimming. And all of a sudden, he feels something brush against his leg. And he feels like sharp pain, and he gets onto the kayak, and he has a huge chunk taken out of his leg. And what happened was, this was a cookie cutter shark. It's a shark that latches onto you and takes out like a perfect hole of meat. These things attack submarines, by the way. That's how deep these creatures normally live. They'll attack parts of the submarine that were soft. Now they're more armored. They have like fiberglass over certain parts because these fish were taking bites out of submarines. These sharks, they live in the middle of the ocean. This report here, I saw something different on Wikipedia, but the article I was looking at, this was the only time that they had seen that a cookie cutter shark had attacked a living human. And he was just swimming out in the middle of the ocean at night with these spotlights on him, and he gets attacked. This article ends with a shark researcher saying, don't swim at night over a deep sea trench while being lit from above by boat-based floodlights. This shark had probably never seen a human before, never even knew they existed. To him, they're the aliens, a creature that is improbable. But one night he looks up and he sees a bright light and he sees splashing. He swims up out of the bottom of that trench that he's always lived in and hunted in. Every night he'd come up and eat his prey, but to come all the way to the surface. The Neil Armstrong of sharks, he came out of that trench. Took a bite out of that guy. Never knew they existed. Didn't know what it was. But he's a shark. He's a creature. He attacked. Don't swim at night with floodlights on you, is really the moral. Because who knows what's going to come out to get you. So that was the first piece of information I found about the ocean at night. But there was something else. Now, when I first started researching the ocean at night, one of the first leads I had was that the U.S. Navy had constructed an artificial sun off the coast of Aden, which is near Yemen. Now, that definitely sounds like in the realm of sci-fi possibilities, something that, what would be the point of doing it? That's always the question you have to ask about these conspiracies. Usually we know the who and the what. The big question is why. So I dismissed that at first. And I was looking for a natural reason for the ocean at night being on that list. But then I thought about it, and I thought, why? First off, my question was, why would you build an artificial sun? Well, we already have one, actually. We've built them. In Germany, they built this massive artificial sun. And I was reading this article, and it's just all of these massive light bulbs. It's amazing. It actually, when it's turned on, they give an intensity of 10,000 times greater than the sunlight we feel on Earth. And it's massive. Each of these light bulbs is the size of a human. And there's, I think, 149 of them. And I'm looking at this, and I'm reading this article, and I'm like, I'm always amazed by what humanity can do. I'm reading this article, and they're talking about why they built it. And they're like, well, it gives us a way that people can bring in solar panels, and they can test them. We can make it more efficient. We can use it to perfect stuff like solar-powered sails, which is another way to travel long distances in space. And then I see this. Okay, so this is called the syn light, like synthetic light. I found this. Scientists will delve into new ways to create hydrogen, which isn't found naturally, but must be created by splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen. So, of course, now I'm like, great, I got to figure out how hydrogen's made. Hydrogen, of course, is made by splitting hydrogen and oxygen. There's two ways you can do it. One, I think it's electrolysis, where it's this very expensive, energy-wise way to electrify water to split the oxygen and hydrogen. The other thing is massive amounts of sunlight, but the sun doesn't provide that much. However, research and the hypothesis shows that something like this artificial sun could create clean, unlimited hydrogen from the ocean. You put these underwater. See, they didn't have this technology before. You put these underwater, or just have them facing the water. The massive amount of heat, with a few other minerals they have to put into the water, non-polluting minerals, can change the way the world looks at energy. Hydrogen is the cleanest fuel. It will put fossil fuels on the back burner, no pun intended. We won't need them anymore. We will have an unlimited amount of hydrogen with these machines in the ocean, using the heat from these machines in the ocean. That would be a boon for mankind. There's no other way to look at it. It would change the way the world works. There would no longer be an ocean at night. Every shoreline of every country would have these things. Instead of oil rigs out in the deep sea, you'd have these giant artificial suns. But in the deep dark of the ocean, creatures that no one knows existed, who never knew we existed, who never thought of anything about man. Now they see lights off of our coasts, off of our rigs, off of our cities, shining into their home. Part of the key component to the ocean at night mystery is that it says that an artificial sun was built in the Gulf of Aden. In 2010, Wikileaks published a document from a Russian admiral claiming that the earthquakes in the area, the chaotic weather patterns, were caused by what he called a vortex opening in the area. And the world's navies going there to fight Somali pirates was simply a cover for something else. Did we already build an artificial sun underwater? Did we turn it on hoping to get hydrogen and instead awaken something massive and dark and ancient? Did we shine that light on it and let it know we are here? That was a clip from our daily podcast, Dead Rabbit Radio. Dead Rabbit Radio is available anywhere that you listen to podcasts. It's daily paranormal, conspiracy, and true crime news. If you want to hear the full episode that this clip came from, check the link below. Please like and subscribe. And hit that little bell, too. That does some magical stuff. Thanks, guys.